This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 537, The Sneaky Trick Behind the Explosive Growth of the Kardashian Game, by Nir Eyal of NirAndFar.com. And I'm Dan, I'm your host and narrator. Welcome to another edition of Optimal Startup Daily, where I read to you from some of the very best blogs on entrepreneurship anywhere. And let's keep this intro nice and short today and get right to our post from Nir as we optimize your life. The Sneaky Trick Behind the Explosive Growth of the Kardashian Game, by Nir Eyal of NirAndFar.com. Recently, I started looking into the explosively popular new game, Kim Kardashian Hollywood. The game has ranked at or near the top of Apple's US App Store charts for the most downloaded free game. Industry watchers say the app could gross $200 million annually and net Kardashian a sizable chunk of the game's profits. My line of work is researching what makes some products so compelling. And in the case of the Kim Kardashian game, I wanted to know what was behind the app's phenomenal growth. I soon discovered that one potential driver of all of its installs is a rather sneaky tactic that exploits user error and can unwittingly post messages to players' Twitter accounts. It's called the viral oops. Unlike viral loops, which are actions users take in the normal course of using a product to invite new members, viral oops rely on the user effing up. A classic example of a viral loop can be found in a product like PayPal. If one user wants to send cash to another, the receiver generally opens a PayPal account to redeem the funds. Conceivably, when the new user wants to send money themselves, they'll usher in more new members and the loop continues. However, in the case of a viral oops, the user doesn't realize what they've just done. A viral oops isn't necessarily a deception by the company, in the way sending messages without the user's permission might be. Rather, it is more of a digital sleight of hand. Like a magic trick, when retracing the steps to figure out what just happened, it's obvious how the viral oops occurred, and the user most often blames themselves rather than the company for allowing the misstep. In the case of Kim Kardashian Hollywood, the game begins innocently enough. The Kim Kardashian game is a classic role-playing game where players take the part of an up-and-coming Hollywood celebrity determined to climb the ranks up to A-list status. To get there, players must pass through lower levels of stardom on the E, D, C, and B lists. Moving through these levels requires completing tasks like posing for magazines, going on dates, and, as best I can tell, shoplifting for Kim Kardashian. Finishing a task requires repetitive thumb tapping that uses up energy points. Energy is replenished by waiting for a period of time or by paying real dollars to get back into the game. This is how the millions are made, but that's not the sneaky part. Here's how the viral oops works. The Kim Kardashian game features a feed update, which pops up occasionally to provide news and gossip like a Twitter account. Fictitious characters in the game, like Paris Hilton lookalike @WillowPape, update their feeds with hashtag-filled 140-character bursts, just like on Twitter. A constant count of fans hovers on screen, further giving the impression that the game has its own version of Twitter. When the game asked me to follow a news reporter named Ray Powers by his handle, @StarNews_Ray, doing so felt like part of gameplay. Naturally, I assumed that the Twitter in the game isn't the real-world Twitter. How could it be? Unbeknownst to me, when I followed @StarNews_Ray in the game, my real-world Twitter account also began following @StarNews_Ray, and apparently, I'm not the only one. The real-world Twitter account of fake @StarNews_Ray has racked up over 400,000 followers. Now the trap was set for the viral oops. During my first session of play, the app offered points for sharing news on what I assumed was in-game Twitter. However, what I thought was fake Twitter turned out to be real Twitter, and the tweet was sent to thousands of my followers' streams. The game automatically posted, quote, "I'm now an E-list celebrity in Kim Kardashian Hollywood. Come join me and become famous too by playing on iPhone," end quote. And it included a link to download the app. A search on Twitter revealed multiple similar tweets posted every minute. It is unclear how many of these tweets were sent by people unaware of what was happening, but in the month of July, over 396,000 similar auto-populated tweets were sent. One of those tweets, which was certainly not intentional, was from the Environmental Protection Agency's Office of Water, which quickly deleted the post after realizing the error. It appears all of these mistakes were no accident. However, according to Glue Mobile's CEO Niccolo De Masi, cases of people mistakenly tweeting from the game are rare. There is always 0.0001% of people who get confused, Demasi told me. Quote, when you have this many people installing the game, you're going to have a lot of people playing that haven't played games before. It's a symptom of tremendous success and popular appeal. End quote. Perhaps, as Demasi argues, the people making this mistake are tech novices. However, even Sarah Burr, a reporter for TechCrunch and conceivably one of the most tech-literate people around, made the very same error, admitting, quote, what the game neglected to tell me is that I would tweet out to all my followers in real life that I, a grown woman, was playing Kim Kardashian Hollywood, end quote. Demasi was quick to point out that, quote, this is the best reviewed game in the App Store, end quote, and that the company has not heard significant complaints from players. He credited Kardashian's celebrity and massive social media following for the game's popularity. Glue Mobile insists there is no intent to deceive, but Demasi would not comment on what percentage of installs came from Twitter. Demasi believes the game is growing through word of mouth. People just want to tell others about it. Regardless of whether the tactic is something the company is doing consciously or not, it appears to be benefiting from all the tweeting. Demasi said, quote, Glue as a company doesn't spend as much money as competitors on user acquisition. We spend 15%, whereas our competitors spend 40%, end quote. As is often the case with a viral oops, I wasn't sure if even the game maker wasn't fooled into thinking all that tweeting was authentic. When I asked Demasi whether the company had any plans to change the game, his response was that the problem was, quote-unquote, not an issue, and, quote, not on our radar as far as something that has been a concern to millions of fans, end quote. Clearly, the 2.8 billion minutes players have spent in the Kim Kardashian game is a testament to its appeal. However, how much of the game's growth is a result of real player endorsements versus a technological sleight of hand called the viral oops is still an open question. You just listened to the post titled The Sneaky Trick Behind the Explosive Growth of the Kardashian Game by Nir Eyal of NirAndFar.com. You're ready to take your business to the next level, but you'll need the right team to make it happen. Indeed makes it easy to hire and build a team with the right skills to make your dreams a reality. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have requirements. I love that Indeed makes hiring all in one place so easy. Indeed helps you see your top talent's abilities faster with 135 assessment tests. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/startup. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/startup to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thank you to Nir, which, by the way, is spelled N-I-R, just like his site. He's got so many qualifications, but I'll name just a few for you. He holds a degree from Stanford Graduate School of Business, has sold multiple companies, taught at 2 different schools at Stanford. He's also a best-selling author, and you can find his book, Indistractable, on Amazon. And Nir has an excellent blog, which is where I'm reading from today. That's at NirAndFar.com. For more insights on using psychology to change behavior, join Nir's newsletter and receive a free workbook, also at NirAndFar.com. And again, Nir is spelled N-I-R, like his name. And thanks to Nir for letting us share his work for years now. But that should do it for today. I thank you for being here and listening all the way through, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for the Tuesday show, where your optimal life awaits.